Guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do Barb Wire, Ace of Spades, issue number 204 by Dark Horse Comics, made by Chris Wolf and Tim Bradstreet. We're going to continue because this is actually fun. So, Steel Harbor. I believe this is Steel Harbor. Well, anyway, or the Steel City. And I skipped a little bit. That wasn't my intention, but let's go back to the first. So we see this guy calling. So this guy is called Thomas. I can't read it very well. Thomas Crashell Bail Bonds. I have no clue what that is, but I heard that's a guy that can keep people out of jail, I guess. So he has a phone with somebody and then he's getting killed by the killer, by this one. And then we continue with Barb Wire. He gets a call from her co-workers. And then they say, hey, the police is here. They want to talk to you. So this guy called Lieutenant John Ruger from Homicide, he says, last night you broke up a brawl involving Wolfgang members. You left the club soon after. Where did you go? She says, nowhere special. Just rode around to clear my head. Any witnesses? She says, what is this? And then she's been shown these dead bodies. It seems that these guys are part of the guys that she kicked out, and she's now, being, the cops are suspicious. And a suspect, that's the word I'm looking for. But Barb Wire says dead gangsters aren't exactly a novelty in this town. Cops caring is someone else, is something else again. When did you start giving a damn? So, Mr. Lieutenant John Ruger of Homicide says, when they were gunned down by a woman in a costume riding a motorcycle, a woman who planted an ace of spades on every victim. That's Death Guard's MO. So Barb Wire says, hey, why don't you go to Crashell, the bail bondsman? He knows plenty about Death Guard. And then, it's been revealed that he's been killed by Death Guard. And then Barb Wire says, hey, I'm going to get out of here because you don't have any evidence. So if you want to lock me up, you would have already done that. And now, come back with a warrant. And then she's going away again. And this is a brother, and I believe these two are not getting along very well. Maybe there's a storyline there, I'm not entirely sure. Meanwhile, we see here Rick James, from Super Freak. It's not, Rick James, but I'm calling him that. Meanwhile, I don't know, some live viewing of, these people that are dead. And the narrator says, all talk, all time, Barry Brown shower, Steel Harbor live. After a long, cold winter, the heat's back in the harbor. 4 Wolfgang soldiers were put to bed with bullets. Last night in the cold heart of the Hunter Woods, a bold move by even the boldest of rival bangers. Rumors are buzzing like flies on a cow pie. That cracked me up. So what I like about this particular page, because normally if, some gang members are being gunned down, they are immediately being replaced, but these guys are actually getting a burial here with all these people in here, and even the head honcho is, giving his last respects. I like that a lot. But then there's a woman in white coming out, and she's being, stopped by these guys and says, hey, what are you doing? This ain't open house, sister. And she says, I must see them, please. So Rick James says, let her through. Remember when covers were painted? It's so cool. Anyway, so she says, do you know them? He says, Rick James. And this woman says, I know all the dead children of Steel Harbor. I know their pain and suffering of their friends and families. And I know who's responsible for this massacre. All right. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So they're going outside, and Rick says, who are you? Who I am is not important. What I know it is. Forces are moving around. Silent alliances threaten everything you've built. Alliances of enemies and friends. So she's tried to, so she says to men, hey, I'm going to find out who the killer is. And the woman known as Death Card and she will contact him soon, and also warns him about to be prepared for the pain of betrayal. All right. Meanwhile, Barb Wire is returning to her club, and then these gangbangers, that's how I call them, these criminals are coming out, and they blame her for the death of, I don't know, their friends or their colleagues or crime member thingies, whatever you call. So there's gonna be a fight here, and this guy wants to bash your brain in. So you're gonna tell me you settled my boys before I kill you, here. And she says, shut up, you jackass. And she kicks their asses pretty easily because he's a bounty hunter. And also, like I said, there was comics before this when this all went down, and now they have settled their differences, and there's now some kind of a truce between the criminal organization and Barb Wire with her club. Makes now more money than ever because, she's now, even her bounties are now the best customers. So she's making, a lot of money. So she doesn't want to be involved, but somehow she is the center of all this, which is intriguing. Meanwhile, I didn't know that this universe has superheroes. I thought this just was street gangs and members. But this guy who's called Burner, needs to cool down because he's pissed off. And then Barb Wire comes out and he says, hey, Hunter, get your butt down here. He says, joyriding in the woods, Wire. Risky. Where's my crew? She says, hey, this is your crew. They attacked me because of this reason. He said, you keep them in line or else. Next time I send them back in a sponge. Meanwhile, at the harbor, these guys are being killed by a death card. I wonder where she is, by the way. And more Barb Wire stuff, ads. And then she is doing, Punisher-style killings, riding around, killing members of different organizations like the Black Belt Turf, the Hurricane Max Turf, the Deadlight Turf, and they all getting this calling card of a spade. Looks great. And meanwhile, at the one of the other criminal organization called the Mace Blitzkrieg Turf, and he's dinner, and his underlings are shouting at him. What do you plan to do, Mace? Somebody hit all our crew last night, and Wolfgang was hit night before. Ace of spades on every stiff. Word on the street says Barb Wire's the dealer. And this is all very interesting, but not Mace's problem. He's referring himself in the third person. And funny how every crew in the harbor was hit except yours. Your point being, so he stands up and this guy's backing down and he says, hey, my dinner is spoiled. Get out of here. I'm going to think about it. And then, we are going back to the club where Barb Wire is. And then Max is here. Or Mace, I'm sorry. And he wants to talk with Barb Wire. And so they're having a talk. And she says, why would I hit the gangs, Mace? The truce has turned the club around and I'm making money with anybody shooting at me. Why would I want to kill my customers? Why indeed? So he says, look at me in the eye and tell me the truth. Barb Wire says, I had nothing to do with the killings. And he believes her and he says, who is setting us up? Okay, that's a good question. But then when they are, going back to the car, or she is walking him back to this car, none other than Rick James here with this woman here on top. So that gives the sense that Barb Wire is in cahoots with Mace, which doesn't sit very well with Rick James here. And so he says, I know Barb for years. And this woman says, have you really? The closest friends make the strongest enemies. So yeah, there's some dissonance here, some trust issues. I like that because it makes me wonder where this is going to. So that's a good thing. More ads, and I have this as well, Artemis Requiem. So Rick James shows up and he says, hey, you and Mace gonna start picking out our furniture, or maybe you're just playing cards. And she says, okay, this makes it official. Everyone in this town has lost their minds, so she's walking away. And he says, "Don't walk away from me." And she says, "Don't touch me," and punches him in the face. So yeah, they're gonna have a fight here. He said, "How dare you lay your hands on me? Take your paranoia and your business elsewhere, Farrell." And then, the bodyguards are coming. She says, "No, no, no, don't do it." And he's using a wrestling move called the clothesline to take these guys out. And she says, "Now that's enough." And but he throws her over the table. And she says, "Back off, Wolf," because she's now pulling a gun. "I do it, I swear. Don't you want to wait till my back is turned? Now's your chance, Wire. The last you get from me." So yeah, there's a lot of going on here that leads into issue number 3 that I have also. I'm very excited to see where this is going. I like the distrust and all these members that want to kill each other, but there's a fine line between truce and war. So maybe that's what Def Card is, wants to have a war. And what is the black woman to do with everything? She comes out of nowhere and she is, I don't know, there is something going on here that I am very interested in. Guys, let me know what you think about this comic. Art is great. I also like the story. It brings us to the end of the video. See you next time. Bye-bye.